Welcome to Lift Your Leg. This is Monique Anstey from the Naughty Dog in Victoria, BC, author of As a Dog Thinketh. And today I have with me two of my shadow people from last week.
Hey, I'm Zoe. I own Pedicat in Victoria.
And I'm Jana. I own Strathcona Dogs in the Comox Valley.
Thank you, ladies. I have asked these two ladies on to talk about their shadow week of last week. I want to pick their brains and learn from what they got so as to how I can improve myself and share some of their learnings with all of you. Welcome, both of you, and thank you for being willing to do this.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
All right, so I have some questions. How did your understanding of dog behavior change over the course of the week or in the training?
I think I can answer this. For me, I found what became really clear is when you tell me that your white is much whiter and your black is much blacker, I found that in 95% of what you were doing, when you say it's much lighter, it is so much more no sweet talking, like it's very real. And you kept saying that's not how you talk to your partner. And that resonated. And it made it much clearer to watch it for a week, because I know you've told me this previously in classes, but seeing it throughout the week and seeing you do it on a daily basis was very helpful in dealing with dog behavior. Did that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I knew this, but it was confirmed. Dogs are so much more complicated and capable than just responding to like cookies and a toy. It's about how we make them feel, like how we talk to them, how we play with them, the opportunities we give them to problem solve or not, like whether we rush in and fix it. That there's so much more to the dog human relationship or the dog trainer relationship. There's so much more depth maybe than most people give the dogs credit for.
They have full emotions, and we don't give them credit for that. They are their own people, and we don't have a dog word for people or being their own person. We don't give them nearly enough credit for their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. And we dumb it down and treat them like little science projects, which is so insulting and degrading to them. Love your observations. And Zoe, I agree too. There's a huge difference in being immersed in it versus attending and seeing. So I think attending and seeing are like weekly maintenance, but they don't compare to the immersion of something if you're wanting to learn it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Anything else, ladies?
I think, and the added part of the immersion is the benefit of living it with you and your dog. So having some of those, I mean, they could be flaws, strengths as well, those revealed to you. Yeah, which is not, it can be challenging, but ultimately a gift, isn't it?
Yes, I agree. Did you, through the course of it, like you got to see my client's dogs, see my clients? I think as dog trainers, we start off coming into this because we love dogs, but we stay in it because we actually love our clients. So my question for you is, did your empathy for the people increase? Hard one, huh?
Yeah, I think I can relate to many of the struggles that your clients have had, like different pieces, whether myself with my own dogs or helping other people. But what I really loved was how it very much felt like you and your clients were on a equal level. Maybe there wasn't a kind of expert and beginner or teacher and student. It was more of a coaching kind of feeling by a trusted person or friend. Yeah, that I think was a contrast to some of the trainer-client relationships I've seen elsewhere.
Interesting. I just assumed everyone was like this.
No.
I think all of my mentors have been like me. So I just assumed it was this way.
No, not in, I don't know, Zoe, how you think, but
Yeah, I found you were very compassionate with your clients, just fully understanding what was happening in their life and getting more of a bigger picture. And it wasn't so much of a you have to make the time to do this, but more so this is what you and your dog need to work on together. I feel like more of a lifestyle, but back to what That was just like meeting them where they're at and being on more of an equal playing field, I think.
Cool. Did your empathy for people increase?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm quite.
But
others might say no. I don't know.
I was going to say absolutely. I felt like there were some big background stories that we were hearing and that we got to witness a bit of. However, for me, it made me realize that how much you took on of your clients and how much you were able to listen and give them feedback, not only with their dog, but where they are in their life and what they had to balance out. And I thought, I don't want to take that on. I took a step back from any training with other people, and I think that was the right choice for me. Reconfirmed that that is the right thing for me to do.
During our week, was there a moment when either of you were challenged personally?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I am a micromanager through and through. And part of that comes from I'm smack dab in the middle of the city and I'm walking in public spaces and I always have eyes on my dogs. I'm a micromanager for sure. But I'd like to say it's because of my environment, but also that's just who I am. So for me, the most challenging part of the week was when we were just doing our walk around your property and you told me that I had to just let Bart be and he would catch up to us when it happened. And he went on the other side of your training building. And I was like, but I can't see him. I don't know what he's doing. What if he's getting into your chickens? So that was so hard for me. And I didn't think it would be. I struggled so hard. I was literally biting my tongue so I wouldn't call his name to get him back with us because you said just leave it, and I was struggling way harder than I thought.
Now, your concerns may have been legit. Is he a chicken killer?
He wasn't last week, so I don't think so.
It's okay. So you're micromanaging. Just checking. If he actually was a chicken murderer, then your feelings were right. But
no, I think I'm just so programmed to always have eyes on him or all my dogs. Like be very aware of where they are because again, I'm in public space and I'm like smack dab in the middle of town. So that was incredibly difficult. And it's funny because I think as an employee, when I worked for other people, I would die if someone had this level of micromanagement on me, but I'm doing it to my dogs tenfold.
Is it something you can change?
I am desperately trying.
No, as in you keep saying I live smack dab in the middle of a city.
Oh, I can change parts of it. So the options are like to rent out sniff spots or head further into the bush, but that wouldn't be feasible to do it daily, or it would probably be feasible to do it weekly.
Is some of it, do you micromanage just around the house too?
Yeah, probably.
That's the stuff to give up. If you're doing it in your own house, your own yard.
We live in a small enough house that it's not hard to always know where they are. So I feel like I don't do it as much in my house just because I can see around where I am. But yeah, that was rough.
Okay, thank you. Jana?
Yeah, similar but different. So again, was around my dog's behavior and my behavior, like the interaction between those two. So I found it, I think it was unconscious to start with, that I'm very controlling of or mindful of Rudy being rowdy and wild, and where we talked about where that had come from, but that it comes across to him as like pretty boring, like I'm the fun police, really nagging at him, a whole lot of grey, I suppose, versus the bit of black, and then an awful lot of white.
Well, I think you're always trying to keep the lid on it for him.
Yeah,
rather than just popping it off.
And exactly, and embrace who he is, which is ultimately a strength. It was what makes him like great at what he does. But I think I've been, like we said, shamed a bit for it in the past, and especially like I'm a smaller lady like you too, and it's this big kind of unruly black Labrador. So,
but he's not unruly.
Sorry?
He's not unruly.
He can be.
He can be, can't we all?
But no, I've been having a lot of fun with him. So one of our discoveries was how, which I had an inkling about, he really likes to fight for like his play style. So I've been doing that since getting home.
Awesome.
I think also he's a very big, strong, kind of quick moving dog, and so it's a bit physically intimidating maybe. But also I think I can rise to the challenge of playing with him that way. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So what responsibilities do trainers have when it comes to advocating for dogs' well-being?
Oh, that's a great question. I think we do. I think we do have responsibilities. I think it can be incredibly difficult to bridge that gap with clients. It's almost like talking a different language.
How do you navigate it in your
I
businesses?
think you do it very well.
Not always.
I think you have to pick the audience. Some it's just never going to land, and so don't waste everybody's time. Others, I think the opposite end are very open, and you can really reach them. And then with the middle people, just bit by bit, I think.
Zoe, I think your job's kind of perfect for this.
It is. So I have boarding dogs and I have pack walks. So in both of those instances, I am removing the dog from the client and just get to live with the dogs. And although I said I am a micromanager, I do think that the way our life is it's geared towards the dogs. So it's giving more freedom, or I don't want to say more enjoyment, but more freedom, I think, to go out and walk and enjoy nature and just be more, just be present with the dogs. And I think that is something that is the responsibility, is just to meet dogs where they're at and not force them into the box of what we think we want. Yeah, so a lot of people I find have the image of sort of the dog with the white picket fence, and that's what they picture. And then they get a dog who's got a bit of a wild streak, and then when it doesn't work the way they thought it would, they find it very frustrating and keep trying to push that dog to fit into that box without sort of meeting their needs or giving them the outlets that they deserve.
It's funny because I'm thinking about that Hazel dog that just walked behind your head at the back of your couch, right?
Oh, yes.
A while ago. So clearly she's happy and relaxed and chill at your house.
Oh, yes.
And I think there's clients that can see that, and then there's other clients that cannot.
So I will say, I always feel like it's easier for guest dogs than it is my own dogs. And that's one thing I really took away from a lot of our talks over the last week, was the amount of sort of pressure and stress that it is having boarding dogs and always having other dogs, and just constantly working with my own dogs in the house. I've never considered it, but it makes a lot of sense. And when Tyler and I are talking about our next move, we discuss separating our dogs completely from boarding dogs, just for like where they sleep and just general well-being, because it is, I've never thought about it that way, but as soon as it was said, I was like, obviously that makes sense. So I think for boarding dogs, so Hazel here, hopefully Hazel's owners don't listen, but Hazel in her house,
Hazel's happy.
Yes, Hazel
in your house, she's happy. That's what we just saw.
Yes, she is an avid barker. She's very protective of the house. She's high strung. And here, I don't think we've ever heard her bark much about anything. And she's happy just to have a snooze and relax here. So I think part of it is also knowing, like boarding dogs, they definitely know that I've got this. And I think my own dogs are like, I don't know. She's doesn't always have it.
Anna, do you need me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
I can't remember what it was now. Oh, advocating for your client's dog's well-being.
I think that something that Zoe said sparked an idea for me, which is to see the contrast in how the dog behaves between the owner and the trainer, boarder, walker. I think that can help to set a light bulb off that the variable there's the person, isn't it, that's the dog's living with, and that the dog can behave a certain way or not do the naughty behavior or do the good behaviour given the right environment to thrive in. So I think that can plant the seed, can't it?
It can. What misconceptions? Oh, hang on, my notes just moved. It was much too efficient there. Are there any misconceptions about dog training you encountered or overcame in the last week?
Yeah, I
think so.
after you.
Yes,
I found not so much that it was a misconception, but we were talking about it on the last day, saying, "Oh man, we saw like a lot of finished dogs," but the other part of that was watching your board and train. Just like a lot of it, there was few times where it was a structured training outlet, and it was just letting the dogs live with you and just telling them off. So I think the misconception there, that's the misconception, sure, is that when you are taking on board and trains, or when someone is training a dog, that it is these like quick
Structured.
sessions.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And I think we saw maybe one of those all week, and the rest was very organic. So that, let me rephrase here. So you talk to us a lot about how things feel fake if it's a setup,
Yes.
and how we know when we're being set up in a scenario, and how you don't do that for the dogs. And that was very clear. So I found that the misconception was just the setup there, and how often you'll see people do it because they want to sort of force the dog almost into those feelings and then fix the issue. But watching you with your board and trains was very organic, and you put your dog in all sorts of situations, and then we're able to work through the issues that arose, but in a very organic fashion.
Yes.
That was a roundabout way to put it all, but I think that answered it.
On that note, today I dremeled the Cocker Spaniel's feet. Because she was saying he was growling and wanting to bite her with his toenails. So he got all of them done today on the couch. So going back to what you're saying, I'm looking to create issues. I'm looking to train through it in a way that I know I can win or help the dog, but not in a fake way, like place or working on downstays in my building or walking around my building with a dog on a loose leash. I don't do that. It's not real. They know. They totally know. Thank you. That was really good. Jana, I expect something equally insightful.
Oh God, I've got 110% agree with what Zoe said.
I feel like I'm just verbally just going off here and being like, gosh, I hope your editing skills are up for the challenge.
The dog doesn't know.
That was really good.
Air quotes training and not. It's all just life for the dog.
It's life.
Although it does. I think they know, like we said, they do know when they're being set up. They can smell that.
Can we talk about the psychopathic duck killer? I have a dog here for resource guarding, and he was quite naughty when his mum walked close to his dinner. So he's hanging out with us, and he very casually just walked into the duck pen and took a duck. Like, he didn't trot. He just casually walked in, picked up his duck, walked out, and ambled off to my car.
Not a sound was made. The duck didn't make a sound. The dog didn't make a sound. It was a full assassin.
The duck didn't even flap his wings, like nothing. It was all just so casual. Hi, would you like to die? Come with me. And off they went. Cocker Spaniel, it takes duck to my car. So I went to go claim my duck back, and knowing he's a resource guarder, right now I have the prime moment where I'm about to get bitten. And I went to take duck from his mouth, and he clamped down, which is when the murder part happened. And as soon as he clamped down like that, I knew there's no way he was going to let go if I went for his mouth. So he's this sweet, lovely dog. I just took his ear and twisted it, like just in a clockwise motion, the whole ear, just a bit. And he just went, puh. And then he let go of Duck. I picked up Duck and he walked away. That was it. Done. So that's resource guarder in real life. That was what he was like. So Dog then gave us some of the answers we were needing to solve the problem of why he was here, what's going on, that type of thing, because that's like the ultimate resource guarding moment. And he didn't really care to resource guard it. Not really. He didn't put up a fight for it. He just let go and walked off. Yeah. Sorry.
I
I'm
thought
babbling.
Maria's observation that he also wasn't. That's not how if one of my dogs got hold of a duck, like they'd be having a party.
Yeah,
That was,
exactly. Every other dog in the world,
yeah,
except
but
for this one.
he wasn't
Stone
even
cold
really
killer.
excited about it.
I've never seen anything like that before, like ever. But I think he probably didn't intend to kill it until I took his collar. I don't know. And I'm not sure if he even did then. He just didn't want to give it back. It was an unfortunate consequence of clamping down. Bye-bye, Ducky.
Poor guy.
Ducky's been here many, many years.
Mm.
And it was funny. Somebody asked me on the first day, I think, if I lose many chickens and ducks. I'm like, no, maybe one or two through the years.
He was listening. He knew.
Oh, rotten dogs. They're horrible. All right. Thing more to add? Did you actually answer the question, Jenna? I can't remember now.
I think so.
I think so.
I did.
Yes.
I think I gave a great answer.
Super. Good. All right. How has this week shaped your future plans for your businesses, your goals? Has it? Has it
Yes.
changed anything?
One thing that it changed, and it was a great reminder and eye opener, is to take time for yourself and to prioritize vacation and time with just your family. I have a tendency to overschedule, and I always think, what's
one more year?
Yeah, why not? So I think those were really great conversations to have, and just a reminder that, yeah, you gotta take time for yourself and not burn out, and prioritize that and make sure that it's blocked in the calendar. So
I think we have to take time off also for our bodies too.
yeah.
Because what we're doing is very physical and very physically demanding and takes its wear and tear on us.
Yeah.
Anything else? I'm glad you learned that, by the way. That's so important.
It was a very good takeaway to just, give a reminder. I thought I love talking shop, and I really enjoyed this week. We talked a lot about just finances and what that looks like and how people are running their businesses. And I find all of that fascinating. And I am quite lucky to have a community here of people who are open to having those conversations, but it's always fun to have them with more people. So
yes.
I really enjoyed that.
Back to the first comment. Have you booked any time off in the next year?
Well, this is the problem. I do have September off, but that means that I can't make it to 2.0. So it ruined me. I've got this vacation, and now I can't book another week off to come back.
Sure you can. Double up now. Book your time off. Book time off after September 2 before you fully book.
Yep.
Jana?
I think it's all still percolating a little, but definitely the self-care. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I really love this career choice. I feel like I've landed in a good spot, and it really fits me, and so I want to be able to do it and do it well for the long term. And I definitely, like Zoe, have a tendency to push hard, and I'll go really hard until I crash and then rest and then pick myself up and then go again really hard.
I think that's why we're entrepreneurs. I think we all do. So that's why we have to be so careful to make sure we don't just push till we drop.
It's a skill, a new skill.
It is.
And ultimately better for our physical, mental health, but better for our clients, because then we can give them 100% versus 70 or a tired version of ourselves.
When I don't take time off, on week 6, I am so ripe that no one wants to be near me. So I have to.
The good of everyone.
It came out of need. I think
Very
initially.
smart. Very smart. What else? And also the importance, which I knew, but it was again confirmed, the importance of professional development and kind of fueling the fire, like going somewhere to train with people that are better than you, who you find intellectually like stimulating and fun and supportive, like really making time for that as a priority. I've done it for the last 3 years. Every time I've come back feeling energized and really glad that I did it.
We have to. Honestly, it's training Harry with Sheila and Mia and training Fika. That's what keeps me going. Like, it's what keeps me inspired to bounce out of bed every single day. So you have to find something that you're just hooked on that keeps you going.
Mm.
I think, Zoe, you have that with Monster, do you?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think, yes, Monsters taught me a lot of lessons, but definitely enjoying everything and having some good joie de vivre is his
Do they
number one life
recharge
lesson,
us?
for sure.
Yeah. It's finding that one thing that puts all the energy back in your battery.
Yep.
And keeps you going.
Yeah.
What advice would you guys give to someone starting this program?
Come with questions. We were very lucky to have a very open group straight from the get-go. I think everyone, it sounds funny, but like we didn't really have any dumb questions. There were no dumb questions because we all just came to learn from you and also from each other. And we had to delay on day one. And I wish I'd come with more questions about your background because you brought it up on the last day saying this didn't come naturally to me. And I thought, what? I've been here coming to classes with you for quite a while, and that was the first I'd heard of it. So I wish I'd come with questions, or I guess this is feedback for your next one, is to just give a little background on yourself and how you got into it, because that was news to me. I assumed you just came out swinging, telling dogs what's what.
I am not a natural dog trainer. That was what came out in the last day. I've had to work really hard for everything I got. But I just had that burning fire in me and I never gave up, just kept going and fumbling my way through until it became real. And then that burning fire kept me going to the people that could help me. And it was that immersive experience of living in Peter's house with my dog and going training with him for Peter and Connie all day long, every day. It was amazing. It's just amazing. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I hadn't even thought of it because I wasn't expecting us to have half an hour then. It was more like 45 minutes, wasn't it?
I think I assumed like that I knew enough about you, that I knew the things, and then when that came up on the last day, I thought, what? What do you mean? And then I thought, oh, I better get my butt in gear and start training Monster a little harder.
Yeah. Any other advice for someone starting the program?
Come open to learn. You'll probably get some things that you wanted and maybe some things that you weren't thinking you were going to get, but in a good way. And then just to say, for me, it felt like a very safe, open space. I found you, Monique, extremely generous with your time and knowledge, and there were just no pretenses or anything like that. It was just very genuine and authentic from the get-go. Yeah, so I would say to people to put any concerns about that aside and just be really open to the experience.
I've only done 2 of these so far, but I have done lots of boot camps through the years, which is also 4 days with people with long days. And I've never had a bad person in any of them. Every group has ended up being wonderful. Oh, I just cursed myself. I have another boot camp coming. But every group always has just the perfect energy for the group. And maybe that's just been luck so far. I hope not. I believe it's a thing. I think each group takes on its own shape.
Yeah, and
I feel like you should let your listeners know what a day looked like for us. And yeah,
go ahead.
When we started every day, Monique would start with, do you have any questions? So you had the opportunity to ask any questions that you'd just been saving up from the night before. Then Monique was generous enough to give us her lunch hour and sit down with us during the lunch. And we talked about literally everything, from dogs to other things just around town, anything that was sitting on your brain. And it let conversation flow very naturally. And then in the afternoons when we were walking around, again, it was any questions. Do you see anything? Do you see this? Do you want to know why this? And it was a lot of Monique prompting us for more questions. And I don't think there was never a day where he said, oh, time's up, gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single day was making sure that all of our questions were answered. And then on top of that, going home, it was reach out if you need anything. And some of our advice was like, oh, I wish we could come back and learn more from this. And then the next day, Monique sent us a email saying we can do Shadow Week 2.0 on these dates. So I think you've been insanely generous with your time for us. And just to go to that depth for every day to ask if you had more questions, and we all got everything answered. I feel like we should really ask Yana.
But
you came with a whole book of questions.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's like we spend the day together, but then when I leave, I'm thinking about stuff. And that's when, like I sent you a message about your dog, little stuff like that. And I know the same's happening for you guys too. It's not until we're apart and we have that quiet time to think and focus that we're then connecting the dots of what happened today, or trying to work out a link that didn't go quite as we wanted it to go. That's when you're putting the extra thought in. And that's why it's so important to have time to think every day. My time is taking my dogs in the forest in the mornings. And then often, like right now, it's just walking through my garden in the evenings. But you have to have that time to process and work out what you're seeing. Because you don't always see it in that moment because so much is going on. And I'm sure there's stuff I missed too, but
that's what 2.0 is for.
That's what 2.0 is for. One of the comments was that all the dogs we had were later in their training, so there wasn't that much to see, which is such a compliment for Wednesday. It really is, because she's still not perfect. She's far from it. So the next one is the beginning of a board and train, like week 1, which you may not necessarily see that much. You'll see the badness. And then it's building that relationship with the dogs on week 1. Though one of the dogs is week 2, so that's good. Anna?
So this is for people considering doing the shadow program. I would add, I agree again with everything Zoe said. I would add, what I loved was the balance of, if we could put it into 2 bucket pet dog training, behavior stuff, and then the opportunity to do some sport dog skills. For me, that was super cool. And it's like a double opportunity to work on your kind of career skill set, and then also get some expert kind of eyes on your personal dog, whether it's a behavioral thing that you think is going on or it's a skill in the sport that you're working towards. So I loved that there were both of those 2 aspects to it. And I know it's all dog training, but
it's different.
Yeah.
It's learning to walk down the street versus taking ballet. Like, sport's completely different.
Yeah.
It's so unpractical for the real world, but so much fun to obsess on and get it right.
Yeah.
So interesting. What was your most valuable moments and funnest moments? What did you enjoy the most that we did?
I enjoyed bravery the most.
Yeah, I love bravery.
I think for me, the dog, Bart, who came with me, it was the first time that he like really opened up and played with me like I was another dog. And it was like, I know he loves me, I know he plays with me, and like I know we have a good relationship, but watching him just open up and be like a total goof was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
For me, it was, can I have 2? The first
you can
one,
have as many as you want.
Okay, training, like coming to see your training session. I'm very grateful for that. So that was super awesome to see some people training some cool dogs in a sport that I don't know much about.
Did you think we were nuts?
Yeah, but I love it. And it clearly works. And then the other was just seeing when we got Rudy, we did that little drive building session with him with the plastic mallet and then the whip, just for people listening, like for the auditory kind of stimulus. And I can't remember what other props we used, but he loved it. And just seeing like that level of physicality, and that you just knew and you went straight there. I was a bit like, oh God, but he clearly loved it. So
Your dog is so much like Harry. It was easy.
yeah.
And then I think once you got to see Harry, you realized.
And then it's super fun. Like I told you, I've been beating him with a pool nut noodle while tugging for the last few days, and he just thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah. Some dogs love to fight, like fake fight, but they love it. They get off on it. It's the same as some people, though. Why do people do kickboxing? And
in some dogs more than others, it's like an innate thing, isn't it? Instinct.
Yeah.
Like he's getting to. That's why it must feel great for him.
Yeah.
It's in his genetics. He's getting that fulfilled, which is like the coolest. And with me, so then he thinks I'm super fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Zoe, I'm scared to know your answer here. But I know you've done other shadow programs.
Yeah.
How is this one better and worse than the others?
Okay.
Edit out all the worse.
So just on a personal note, like being here locally and being, I gotta say, I think the most helpful thing for the week was you sending a text message to a group of ladies and saying, listen, you should ask her to join you to train, because finding a training group is not as easy. And I felt kind of like you were my mom at the playground being like, be nice to her in the sound box. So that was very helpful to me. I think also knowing that you are just down the road from me it's helpful to know that it's easy to come back and it's easy to pick your brain on things because you're so close locally. I've done many different workshops, some where I learned what I don't want to do and what I don't want my training to look like. And that has been educational in its own way. And I've learned some that have created like a wonderful community and people that I've traveled to the States to go visit. And I've met friends that I would now consider lifelong friends. And I know I have places to stay all over the world. So that's
nice.
Very nice. Oh my gosh, this is an easy one to say what I'd love to improve. You sent out a schedule before we met. And I am insanely type A. And it was so far from that in the best way possible because you kept us for longer and we were there full days. But I had planned my life around the schedule because it was sent.
Yes,
and that backfired on day one. And I was like, so
I was thinking about that though. It was so hot that you couldn't have brought your dogs.
For sure.
You'd have had someone pee them.
I would have gone home. So the original schedule said 10 to 2 and then back for 5.
Yep.
So I would have been able to drive home in that time, let my dogs out, take them around the block, and then come back in the evening. So I was like, oh, perfect. But luckily for me, my partner works from home. So it was just a text message.
Okay, good.
But yes, it was not a big deal at all. Yeah.
Scheduling is my curse.
Scheduling. Yeah.
At least I was on time, but scheduling is my curse.
It's a funny thing to give feedback on because we did talk about it as a group one time when you went to do something in the house on Monday, and we're like, didn't the schedule say till 2? But no one wanted to say anything because we were like, well, if we're going to keep going, let's keep going. So we were all like so excited to be there and learn more. Yeah, that we're like, but that's my feedback. Just give start times next time. Don't give any end time.
I think that's what I've done, by the way.
Yeah.
I took that into advisement. I think you ladies asked so many questions that it took up a lot of time.
For sure.
And no regrets because it was super.
No, I absolutely loved it, and it feels like funny feedback to even give because I'm very pleased with the way it turned out.
Yeah.
But day one, I was like, oh my God, what do you think? How long do I have to get home?
So funny.
Yeah. And then I'd just say I guess you did have a plan on day one. It was just we were running a little behind.
Yeah.
It was just like when we arrive, especially if you have new people who aren't too familiar with you, I think that having like immediately jumping into something would be a helpful way to start because
that was my plan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I had gotten thwarted by my client, but We were going Lucy Walking right off the bat. That was the plan, but it never came to be. Thank you. I had talked to you all about finances. Have I at least planted seeds of making you think that direction?
Absolutely.
It's something we never talk about, but we all need to start talking about because no one's going to give us retirement. We need to be saving our own. Dana, any comments?
I think we've covered. Yeah, we've covered most of it. I'm just like looking through what I wrote down. No, it was super fun, super positive, very like recharging experience for me. So really grateful for that. And I'm glad you're just down Ireland. And I feel like Maria's like here in the Comox Valley too. Hopefully I have a training partner in her for the future, even if our sports are a bit different. I think I can help her and she can help me.
I agree.
Yeah, I just love this whole process. I've never been one to look for, how would you say, like a guru or like a system or anything. I just really love going to.
You don't
learn
want a
from people.
system.
Sorry?
You don't want a system.
No, it's too rigid.
It is.
To people who, well, are having success, which you clearly are, and also who have titled dogs and had success in sports. It's just proof that you're someone that I want to learn from. So it's just a really great, unique, I think, combination: the pet dog and the kind of sport background.
Here's a question for you both, because one of you knew me in advance, and Jana, I'm assuming you've read my stuff in advance.
I feel
So
like I know you because I feel like Jill should have been there because I was just on the podcast. So I
So
know you just don't know me.
the question is, was it as you expected from my
I knew
reading,
you
from
were
the
gonna be
podcast?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be great, but you were even better in person.
Ah, how sweet.
Welcome.
Was I as you expected?
Yeah, I think you were just even better in person. You were maybe a bit more. You were like hilarious and that comes across. And you can also be not like brutally honest, but you're just very direct and honest, which is hard for some people. I think they
Which
would
goes
find
back
that.
to Alison's t-shirt of I can be meaner.
Yes, is true. But you're also incredibly caring for people. So yeah, I knew you were going to be awesome, but you were better in person as well.
Zoe, was it as you expected, knowing me?
I'm not too sure what I was expecting. I think I thought that we would have a few more training sessions. So my experience with you
Yeah.
has been classes. So it's been like, this is, well, like, does anyone have any questions? And then we go through a series of exercises. But I would say there was none of that
None of
this
that.
week. No, like at all. So it was different than I expected. And I found that like your openness to questions and your availability with your time throughout the week or just throughout period, because I like to think that I could call on you now,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah. Of course. Of course.
was like above and beyond. Yeah. And I also shout out to everybody else who's in this group, because from the minute we introduced ourselves to each other, we were all just very open and yeah, very easygoing with more questions and feeding off each other's ideas. And if something didn't make sense, we like talked about it amongst ourselves as well as with you. And it was definitely an excellent learning environment. So
It was a beautiful group experience wise, because you had some very savvy business people there, some very green people there, some very savvy dog trainers with feel and timing, and then some less savvy. So it was like a perfect group of like it was a very harmonious group, is what I felt.
Mhm.
Where everyone got to learn from each other and everyone had something to share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a very cool group. Super. Thank you,
Thank you.
ladies, so much. And thanks for coming on here and talking to me.
Anytime.
Pleasure.
Enjoy your work week, what remains. And it's a whole lot of it because it's just started.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.